Byron Murphy looked really good for the Seattle Seahawks yesterday against the Arizona Cardinals. And today we're going to watch this guy's tape. We're going to get into what this guy flashed on tape. There were so many plays where this guy was able to stay off the block. This guy was able to beat the guy across from him. And it didn't 100% translate into him getting sacks or monster tackles for losses where it was super noticeable. But watching this guy's tape this morning, there are a lot of really, really good plays. Plays like this, right? Where it's kind of cool. Plays like this, where it's going to kind of go unnoticed, but if you guys watch the tape, you can recognize that he's doing all the little things right. Being able to create the separation the way he does here to keep this offensive lineman off of him, to recognize that the running back's cutting this to the left, getting off the block, filling the gap, and then forcing the running back to go even wider is a really, really good job here by Byron Murphy. This play picks up literally no yards. And Byron Murphy was a part of this, right? And of course, he also kind of gets in there and makes sure he can wrap it up. But there's a lot of good plays from this guy, especially against the run. Take this play here as an example. He's going to do a really nice job on this power run concept. He's going to go right underneath the back block. And he's going to basically get in there and make the play. And he's going to make sure to keep the running back from picking up the yards that he needs. This play picks up 0 yards once again. It's from the 2-yard line. And once again, this guy's just going to blow it up. And I love the fact that he's so quick that he can go underneath this. Now, the center here has a back block, so the center just has to make sure number 91 cannot get around him. At 74 here is going to hop step towards the left. He's going to pull. He's going to try to lead for the running back. Byron Murphy recognizes that pretty quickly. And you can see him go right underneath that, get right through there. And this is a winning rep once again. Now, again, the play does go away from him. This is a winning rep once again by Byron Murphy. And then he gets in there and he helps make this play. Now, another part of this play that I think goes overlooked sometimes is the fact that when you run these run plays right here, they're not always going to hit to the front side. Sometimes you might bend them back into one of these gaps. However, with Byron Murphy winning right away, there's no way this running back's going to be able to bend this back towards the inside. Because if that happens, Byron Murphy obviously makes the play based off of how he's able to get right around the back block. And never overlook the fact that a back block is a very, very simple block. Like, there's no reason why Byron Murphy should be able to come around this. To me, this is just such a great job by a really, really good rookie defensive lineman. Now, of course, he's not 100% a superstar caliber player today. Today, we're seeing a lot of flashes on tape. And truth be told, Byron Murphy's only played like 320 snaps, so he still has to develop, right? He has to still continue to get better. But again, we are seeing flashes. We are seeing this guy doing a really good job in so many of the different aspects of the game. Here's a reach block that number 70, the left tackle, has. Most of the time, Paris Johnson's able to get in front of these guys, but most of the time, he's not going up against a guy like Byron Murphy. A guy that's quick, that's fast, that's explosive, that's able to set himself into that gap. Most of the time, Byron Murphy's not the guy these guys are reaching on. So if you guys keep an eye here on the left guard's going to get the hands into Murphy. He's going to try to slow him down. That way, Paris Johnson can essentially get in front of Byron Murphy, but Murphy's going to do a really nice job with the counter. Watch the hands. Remove that leverage right there. He's going to end up getting right into the B gap. He's going to contain the run fit. And the fact that he stays within that run fit, James Conner has nowhere to go. The running back right now is going to look at this play and say, if you can get the reach block here, if you can get up to the linebacker here, you got the double, you got the guy going into this gap. And if the linebacker goes over the top, well, then I can just bend this right into this gap and pick up 10 yards, especially since this is a light box. But of course, you see Byron Murphy get right into that gap and essentially shut this play down. So that's a really, really good job right there by Murphy. And again, against the run, this guy's been very solid this season. This guy's consistently beating the reach block. And again, reach blocking is zone specific. And to me, that's where Murphy's kind of flashed over the course of his college career. He doesn't really allow people to get in front of him. Joe Tippmann here, the center of the New York Jets, a pretty good center. And you're going to see this guy here just straight up get right through that gap, and he's not going to allow the reach block. So again, Murphy's done a really good job against the reach block. He also has pretty good leverage that he plays with. We saw this in college where he kind of drops that knee. He's able to hold his own against power concepts as well. You're going to see him go up against the guard. He's going to hold his own. He's going to two-gap this. As you see, he puts his eyes to the A gap. First and foremost, you're going to see him get right into his gap. As soon as the running back cuts it to the right, he sheds, gets off the block, makes a play. Again, really, really nice job here. And we've seen Byron Murphy as a young defender be really stout against the run. Now, he'll have to develop, right? And I don't want to make it seem like Byron Murphy's the best defensive tackle in the NFL. But he's solid. And against the run specifically, he's a lot better than I expected him to be as he came into the NFL, right? Because he's making so many plays just using that athletic ability we had seen in college. And he's defeating blocks, whether it's a reach block, down block, power blocks, double team blocks, right? He's doing a great job being able to defeat those. And he's doing a really good job with the leverage that he's playing with as well. Here's one where you're going to try to double team Byron Murphy. This looks like a dual run concept to me. So the guard's going to double and the guard's going to release to the linebacker. And Murphy just straight up controls the center on this one. Look at him get the hands right inside. Leverage, phenomenal. Really, really good job. Pushes this guy back, gets off the block, gets in there, makes the play. Again, against the run, this guy's been solid. But I want to talk about Murphy's pass rushing as well, because Byron Murphy's doing a really good job being able to get after it a little bit. Now, it hasn't translated to a lot of sacks or quarterback hits, but I do think based off of what we're seeing, the way he's winning, we're going to actually see Byron Murphy start to make plays over the course of the next couple of weeks.
Now, before we go forward, I want to just take a second to give a big shout out to the sponsor of this channel, because this content would not be possible without Underdog. If you guys have never utilized Underdog before, trust me, man, you guys are missing out. I don't do traditional fantasy sports that often. I did do one league this year, but generally speaking, I'm not really doing it anymore. And that's mostly because of Underdog. Underdog has this game that I really, really enjoy. It's called Pick'em. Essentially, you're going to go out there and just make picks that you think are going to be right. They'll have pretty much every pick you can think of for every player, and they have multiple categories as well. So an example would be, I think Aiden O'Connell is going to throw for 125 yards. And you're essentially just going to pick higher on that, right? I think he'll have more than 125 yards. You might say, hey, Dak Prescott's going to have at least 2 touchdowns. I'll pick higher on that. You might say Caleb Williams is going to have a rushing touchdown. And some of those stats also give you multipliers, right? So usually for quarterbacks rushing and in, right? That's something most quarterbacks aren't doing every single week. You'll get like a 4x multiplier on that. So depending on the multiplier, depending on how many picks, you can turn $5 into $400, $1,000, right? Whatever it ends up being. Obviously, it depends on the multiplier, but Underdog to me is one of those places that I pretty much do every single week at this point. Very fun. It makes like watching the Jets and the Dolphins without Tua. It makes them interesting, right? So check out Underdog. If you guys have never used them before, it is the best place. Trust me when I say that. Go to underdogfantasy.com, use my promo code that you guys see on the screen, or use the app. I recommend the app. So let's get right back into the content.
I think there's a lot of good plays where this guy's able to defeat the blocks. And, keep in mind, when we look at Byron Murphy's tape against the run, this guy's oftentimes creating separation. He's defeating reach blocks and those type of things. That stuff directly translates into pass rush as well. But one of the big issues that happens when you come out of college and you go into the NFL is the speed of the game changes, right? The ball's coming out a lot faster. Teams are also mixing up their schemes. So one team will come in and run the football, and then they'll jump set and play action off of that as well. Another team might just come out in 5-man pass protection. And then other teams might run a lot of screens, right? And they might have a lot of quick game and those type of things. So those are little things that defensive linemen that come from college to the NFL have to kind of get used to. But you are seeing Byron Murphy actually winning, right? At the end of the day, whatever the play concept is, whatever it might be when a guy lines up across from another guy, at the end of the day, there's going to be a moment within a play where you as a defensive lineman have to disengage with the guy you're going up against. Paris Johnson's locked in with Byron Murphy here. Look at Murphy disengage. And he gets off the block, and that's a winning rep right there. Again, it doesn't actually translate into a quarterback sack because this play is designed to get the ball out super quickly. But to me, this right here over time is going to translate. As the speed of the game slows down, this right here is going to translate him into getting more sacks, getting to the quarterback, generating pressure, and just being a pocket disruptor. And we're seeing that on tape, right? There's a lot of plays where this guy's the closest guy to the quarterback, or this guy is ultimately getting close, like you see on this interception, where the quarterback's going to be forced to get the ball out. This right here is a 5-man pass protection, but you do have the tight end to influence the defensive end. You have the running back that'll influence this defensive end in case he takes a wide speed rush. So what that means is Murphy on the inside will have at least 2 guys that ultimately touch him. And Murphy still does a pretty good job generating that pressure. The quarterback throws it, and of course it gets picked off by Jones. Just a really good job. Now, as we end this video, I want to just kind of put it together and show you guys why I think Byron Murphy still has a ton of upside and why I think development is going to be a big part of this guy's game. So one of the ways this guy wins a lot right now is just using that athletic ability, using the quickness to get off. And when it comes to his pass rush technique, he's definitely not where he will be in about 2 years. In 2 years, he'll be a lot better. But you can see the athletic ability that's still getting him close. Take this play here as an example. He's going to hezzy right out of his stance, and then he's going to swipe with the right hand. He's going to rip with the left hand. And just straight up off of his get off, that quick hezzy move he does, he's going to generate pressure. Right? He's going to get this close to getting to the quarterback. And the quarterback's going to throw the ball. He has a tight window to ultimately throw this in. And you're going to get an incomplete pass here by the linebacker, Knight. But this right here isn't a winning rep from the pass rush technique, right? Truth be told, the hezzy move is okay, right? He does a good job with that. But the swipe's not very effective, nor is the rip move. And it's the little things that this guy will be able to develop as we go forward. That's going to allow him to get better. But the only way you really get better is by having reps out there. And of course, Murphy didn't play a whole lot early on this season. But as we're going forward, as he's getting more snaps, you're seeing flashes when it comes to his pass rush. You're seeing flashes when it comes to that athletic ability. Here's another pass rush move that this guy's going to do. This time he's going to try to club the left guard here. And he still generates a little bit of pressure, right? It's not perfect. But the quarterback's getting the ball out on a 1-step, 3-step drop. You're not realistically getting to the quarterback. All right, 3 steps, the ball's coming out. You're not going to get to the quarterback on these quick game designs. But you do see Byron Murphy attempting different pass rush moves. On this one, once again, he's going to fake towards the inside. The guard leans a little bit. Murphy's going to come back with the right club. And that's a good move, right? It's a good club. The hand lands pretty well. But it could just be fine-tuned a little bit more. He can get a little bit stronger. And this is going to be the next development that Murphy's going to have to take, right? So as he takes snaps, the different pass rush moves that he's trying to utilize against these offensive linemen, they're only going to get fine-tuned and better and work as he actually puts these into live action and he tries them against live competition. Now, one of the things I always say with rookie defensive linemen is it is one of the hardest positions to be good at. It's one of the hardest positions that actually translates from college to the NFL. But one of the things with rookie defensive linemen is sometimes you can just see the upside with these guys. If these guys take 50 snaps and on 8 of those 50 snaps, they're generating pressure, they're beating the guys across from them. If they're getting double teamed, and you can tell the double team struggling a little bit because a guy might move way faster than the average defensive lineman, which we definitely see with Byron Murphy, right? We're seeing these little things happening on tape. What that means is the guy's going to be a good football player, but it'll just come down to that development aspect of it. Now, I wanted to show you guys a couple more pass rushing snaps. This guy's trying different moves. This isn't as fast as you probably want it to be. But again, this is the developmental aspect of it. So on this play, Byron Murphy's going to go from a bull rush, essentially a push-pull, and then he wants to bring the arm over the top. But it's just not that quick. 100% understandable. But I'm just showing you guys some of these different pass rush moves. Because Murphy does have a lot of different moves, right? He has a lot of different moves within the pass rush. He has a real plan, which I think is one of the things that some defensive linemen lack. You can see that as he's going to get into this guy, he's going to put the hands into him, he's going to push him, and then he's going to pull him. And as he pushes and pulls, that's going to get this guy off balance. He brings the left arm over the top. Now, some guys do it a little bit faster than other guys. Murphy, generally speaking, is very athletic and fast. So over the course of his career, this will get fine-tuned, right? And this will work very, very well. Now, he does have moves that I think he does do a really good job at. And it's going to just be a straight-up bull rush. I think Byron Murphy has a very, very, very good bull rush. And I think one of the reasons why it's a very effective bull rush is because he's athletic and fast, but he's still strong. I think Byron Murphy, don't quote me on this, but I think coming out, he was one of the athletic freaks. And I think you see that on plays like when the guy's bull rushing. Because Byron Murphy is fast, don't take that as he's fast because he's weak. This guy's strong. He's powerful. But he's very, very, very quick. And really, it's explosiveness, right? That's what he really is. He's really explosive. And you see him run through people. And this is one of the moves that he does a really good job at. Overall, I think Byron Murphy has so much upside to become a really good football player. I think as he takes those snaps, he's going to become a top-tier defensive lineman. I think the Seahawks have a guy that has legit top 10 potential as a defensive tackle. Now, that might not hit this year because he will have to develop and then come back into next season. But I think as we get into next season, this guy's going to become one of those disruptive interior guys and be very, very difficult to block. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Obviously, I wanted to kind of, break down this guy's game against the Cardinals, but I also wanted to show you guys some of the things he's done over the course of his career. Up to this point, we really haven't done a Byron Murphy video for the actual regular season, so I definitely wanted to kind of get into that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, man. We are covering the Seattle Seahawks on this channel. They had a really nice win yesterday against the Cardinals. We might actually check in on the offensive line a little later on this week, so subscribe if you guys are not subscribed, and I will see you guys next time with another video.